Yes,
Good
sir.
morning.
Yeah. So
Your
I'll come.
screen is not shared, Abhishek, yet.
Yes, yes, sir. Sir, now visible.
Yes, Abhishek.
Okay. So we will continue from point number 6. We completed till point number 5 last week. Okay. So this is a scenario where there's a mismatch in reporting of exempt, non-taxable, non-GST auto supplies in 1 versus 3B versus 99C. So now we get a notice stating that you need to pay the amount of tax on the exempted supplies along with the interest. So in this, if we categorize the undisputed versus disputed facts, the undisputed fact remains that 1 and 3B filed by the person does not reflect any exempt supplies. GSTF 5 of 9 shows the exempt supplies and no tax has been paid on the turnover declared. That's it. The disputed fact is whether the supply is disclosed in table 5 and or 7 of the 9 uh, is under the law or not, whether the omission of 1 and 3B was deliberate with the intent to evade tax or not, and whether the tax is legally leviable on such turnover, and whether 88B interest kicks in or not. So this is the undisputed versus disputed facts. Now coming to the relevant facts. So when I was
Abhishek, can you just go one little left? That disputed fact. Yeah.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. So in this, when I was again doing this, so I was instructed to add the evidences by the department versus evidences by the taxpayer. I added this time, and when I was doing it, so I found the relevance of facts in issue in a more prominent way. Sir, you please point out what you want to discuss. I'll take it from there.
Okay, so the question here is there is a mismatch in reporting of exempt outward supplies in 1 versus 9,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
right? So maybe in 9, I'm presuming that you have disclosed the full. In 1, you did
We
not
skipped it.
disclose the exempt supply. Table 8 was empty.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Correct. Now, the first point, the supplies which is disclosed in table 5 or 7 are actually exempt. Is that disputed?
Is it, yeah, sir, is the dispute because the ultimately the allegation, the notice would be that this amount has been an afterthought, and to reconcile with the balance sheet, we have put the figure in the GST 9 as exempt supply. If it
But
had been actually an exempt supply, you would have disclosed in 1 and 3B throughout the year.
but shouldn't the notice explicitly say that they propose to levy tax?
Actually, in the scenario, I just put the scenario, but yeah, yes, the notice, sir, that I only wanted to put in the scenario first column.
Ah.
They want to tax this figure, which is extra disclosure in GST 9.
Okay. Okay, fine, got it. Without giving any classification of HSN and
Exactly, sir.
everything.
Exactly.
All right.
So
Yeah.
that's the case. Exactly, sir. That's the
Yeah.
point.
Okay. Yeah.
So subsequently, sir, the relevant facts versus fact and issue. Relevant fact is a provision of the law, but the facts in issue, I was able to filter it more. That whether the supplies reported in 9 were genuinely exempt or not, okay. Whether the omission of 1 3B was duly willful suppression or a reporting lapse, because this will help us to identify 73 74. Whether the demand is entitled to treat such exempt turnover as taxable merely on the basis of its omission, okay, 88B fine, and whether the benefit of the classification under exemption notification can be denied retrospectively. Okay, so if you sir come down to the next thing, that is department evidence versus taxpayer evidence. If we think from the perspective of the officer today only alleged this demand, showcasing that 1 3B filed with no turnover. Table 9C showing that there is a turnover. Presumption of intent to evade tax due to non-disclosure of 1 3B, and no direct classification or notification reference. That will be the department's evidence. Subsequently, the taxpayer would go with the showcasing the nature of supply contracts, invoices. If there's any classification, so yes, they will show the classifications, business models. What I could think of exports without payment.
Abhishek, 1 second.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
See,
ma'am.
with respect to claim of exemption, the burden is on the
A taxpayer,
taxpayer,
definitely,
no? So,
definitely.
what is the strategy to counter that?
I'm coming to it, ma'am. I'll should have jumped into that. So the burden of proof, what I put it this way, that the burden of proof lies first on department for all these things, and then it comes to the burden comes to the SSE for proving the classification. And see what if I get a notice, what I could got from the learnings, that I would have challenged that. In basic ingredients on 9(1) should be there. So in the notes I've written, if it is omitted in monthly returns, but it's a self-assessment done in the annual return, without showing that the ingredients to attract the incidence of tax 9(1), demand cannot be made. So for this thought process that there is no HSN code, nothing, the burden remains in the department perspective. Now, if it is a exemption which we have claimed, let's say, then the burden comes to us. Yes, then the burden comes to us that we are supposed to prove the exemption. So that's the thing I covered in this taxpayer evidence. The nature of supply contracts invoices. The moment if I received the exempt supply, I am issuing an uh, exempt supplies. I will be having those particular HSN codes or a contract or invoices, which will be evident enough to showcase that those are the exempt supplies.
So then we are shifting the onus to the taxpayer now.
Again. So, ma'am, here, what I've thought was, I got a scenario where there was a turnover, interest income, in the show in the 99C disclose. Okay, 1 3 never had that figure. In that case, when we go further, the notice alleged me that you are liable to pay tax on the said amount. That's
Okay,
it.
so then we're going on merits here. Things are fine in 99C, so you're
Exactly.
substantiating it with
Exactly.
documentary evidence.
Exactly, ma'am. Here
Got
I
it.
don't wanted to put the legal point here because I was not able to figure it out that if we don't go on marriage, how will save this? So evidence, since I was only pondering upon the evidence law, so I thought that again the whole concept of mine also
See,
changed when I
yeah,
entered
now
this
let's say, like the department alleges, this is actually an afterthought. And to match with the books, the balancing figure is used in 9.
Yes, ma'am.
Then what?
And that I only I thought of that if
Mm.
department thinks that way, then
Mm.
I would have that evidences, invoices, the disclosing the balance sheet. That ma'am, then only this becomes relevant, now.
No,
So
see what happens is again we are shifting the onus to the taxpayer by doing so.
yes,
So
ma'am.
now we had a similar case and so to now how to keep the burden on the department even in such cases. Now department is presuming that 9 and 9C are correct.
Ma'am,
1 and 3B are wrong.
right. Department is presuming 999C is correct. Oh, no,
Huh.
sorry. We are putting in this front that 999C is correct. Burden shift on us to prove that 999C is correct. Department is supposed to prove that the figures reported in 999C is wrong.
No.
Department is yes,
See,
ma'am.
now everything like taxpayer has come alongside and said that my 1 and 3B went wrong and 9 and 9C I am rectifying all that, matching with financials,
Yes, ma'am.
disclosing things in
Yes.
exempt category of the transactions.
Yes.
Now department says that since you have not disclosed in 1 and 3B but in 9 and 9C, it is an afterthought. What is actually taxable you have disclosed under exempt is the contention of the department, isn't it?
Exactly. Here,
Now,
sorry. Yeah.
okay. Now, the moment we say that 9 and 9C is correct and I have reported under exempt category, then there is no escape for burden of proof because we have disclosed that as exempted turnover, and we are not even denying that 9 and 9C are incorrect.
Ma'am, we are denying that 1 and 3B are incorrect. We are saying that 9 and 9
Oh.
is perfect.
And so, yeah, so 9 and 9C, once it is correct, then we have showed additional exemption in 9 and 9C. So burden shifts on the taxpayer, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, the burden shift to a taxpayer and not, but I found nothing different here is because if with the taxpayer evidence I can showcase prove the burden. The moment I do it, then the burden shift to department to prove his allegation. Because just if I am putting something on the table, I am liable to prove it.
See, it
Then-
is easy job for the department to reject all my evidences, isn't it?
No. Ma'am, again, department being a counterpart has to only reject with backing.
So,
Mhm.
like Annapurna Kapra ma'am is also, sharing here. So it is like in these cases, it is instead of shifting the burden to us, it is always better to keep the burden, continue with the department, and reject the allegations without introducing additional material. The moment additional material is introduced, the burden comes back to the.
Ma'am, I would have taken this strategy before the show cause. If a show cause is there, after show cause, when we are going through the adjudication process, I am of a very strong view that we need to take the burden and prove it on merits.
There are no merit points.
Pardon, ma'am?
If there are no merit points, then.
Okay. Then
Annapurna, sorry to interrupt.
Yes,
So,
yeah,
are
okay.
you saying
Hmm.
that 9 and 9C, is it wrong?
See, I mean, if at all we want to keep the burden on the department, then see, the moment we say that we have declared exemption in 9 and 9C, then the burden comes on the assessee to prove the exemption, claim of exemption.
Right.
Now,
But
aren't
the,
there
if the, no, no,
there
as
aren't
per
there
the
instances?
Abhishek, the
Hmm.
fact is, one, he didn't disclose in 9 and 9C, he has disclosed the exempted turnover.
Hmm.
Now, are we changing the facts or?
Okay, sorry then. I mean, maybe I brought in a different case, but then I mean, the risk of I mean, the only point I wanted to drive here was the moment we introduce merits and all of that, burden shifts, and if the department rejects those documentary evidences, then it will be very difficult as the stage
No,
progresses.
no. So I agreed. I'm saying let us conclude. We are mixing two
Yeah, got
different
it.
points,
Two
and
different. Understood,
then
understood.
the
Yeah.
whole context is going wrong.
Sorry
Yeah,
for that.
because he explicitly says that there is an exempt turnover which was not disclosed in 1. He now disclosed in 9, and presuming that there is an additional turnover in 9, department assumed that as an taxable turnover. And the total turnover is matching, and he is not denying the total turnover. 100 is correct. He paid tax only on 80, 20 he didn't pay tax.
Understood. In this situation, then once it is we are going on merits, it is the burden on the assessee to prove all the evidence in support of the exemption claim.
Right.
So again, till show before show cause we may refrain, but the moment show cause is there to close in the adjudication process, I believe that we would challenge this that only on the presumption cannot stand, and I will shift the burden to the taxpayer and give the relevant evidences. Okay, so anything on this point, then we can shift.
Only point here is suppose department does not accept these evidences, what is the way out for the taxpayer in the future course?
Okay. So, ma'am, let's say, just sake of understanding, let's say if I give any invoice or any something, invoice is a self-assessed document. If I'm giving a invoice on record as an evidence and a department rejects it, the department has to reject it with a reasoning. Only for a sake of reasoning, if it rejects, it will be challenged in the upper forums.
Abhishek, is that 99C what I disclosed? Is that not a self-assessment?
So exactly my point is now my 990 is a self-assessment, my invoice is a self-assessment. During adjudication, I showcase an invoice as evidence. As a taxpayer evidence, I submit the invoice to the officer. What Annapurna ma'am is saying that if he altogether rejects the evidence, then what is the fate of the case? So I believe if he rejects without any supporting, without any reasoning, this will not stand in the upper forum.
Abhishek, before that, one basic question.
Yes, sir.
This input tax credit and exempt turnover, always we say that it is a burden of the taxpayer and not of department.
True, very
Taxable
true, sir.
supply is of department,
Yes,
right?
sir.
See, is that this burden of proof, whether it will change based on the stage? For example, during the investigation stage, this exemption and ITC is on the
No, no,
taxpayer.
no. Sir,
During
sir,
adjudication, it is shift to
I believe, sir, I believe,
investigation.
so sorry. I believe, sir, we have to
Is it
go
my
to,
understanding correct? I'm just wanted to check.
sir, in the, sir, see, it's a monkey. What, as per Jatin sir language, it's a monkey which will continue, keeps on jumping from here to here. The moment I prove my burden, the moment I put my evidence on the table, the monkey shifts on the officer's shoulder.
No, there is only onus, no, it is not burden to proof.
Pardon, sir?
It is only onus will shift, not the burden to proof, no?
So, sir,
No,
I,
no, 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 Mylar, I differ. See, allegation was made by the taxpayer, tax officer. So when merits, he has given that this is the supply, this is an exempt. Burden to prove that it is taxable is still on the officer. It is never on the taxpayer. Onus to comply with the taxpayer's point, sorry, officers, proper officers is only on the thing. So burden is not shifting to the taxpayer. Burden is with the officer. Allegation is initiated by the officer. So burden will be with officer.
In all the cases, input tax, credit, exempt, supply, taxable supply, everywhere, if the show cause notice is issued, it is the burden is on the department. That's what you're saying, Vinay, sir.
Yeah, whomsoever makes the allegation, they have to. And for the input tax credit, 16 subsection 2, proving those conditions are definitely with the taxpayer. Otherwise, when after it has been given, like how he is saying that the monkey is shifting, after I made the point, the obligation of the other person to say that that point is not right. Whether my point is valid, invalid, that's a different thing. It is the other person's thing to prove that point.
One more point, Venu. In this case, they also issued this extended period of limitation, 74. So in that case also, the burden is on the department to prove that there is a willful misstatement, something he has referred here.
right, sir, right, right, ma'am.
Mansriya.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
Mansriya. So
Yeah.
even in that case also, in the show cause notice, it is again on the department to prove that there is a suppression in the show cause notice and why they are invoking that 74 notice. So I think looking into this criteria, the notice what he has issued and the claim what he has made, he has to also prove that there is a supply. See, the what in the notice, na, he has to assume what kind of supply he is trying to say. So if he
Supply is an undisputed fact.
yeah, I got it. That's what I'm saying. He's saying that there is a taxable supply, and we are trying to prove that it is not a taxable supply and it is an exempt supply. Only a disclosure is an issue. So I think even 74 also can be looked into here. They cannot issue the 74 notice here saying that it is a suppression. Again, for that also, it is on the department to prove that there is a willful suppression as such. That is what before giving this extended period of limitation. And I don't know why this interest under Rule 88B will be there in the options. This is also one more disputed facts which can be argued actually. So one is 74 and one is 88B. I don't know how come this will be applicable in this case. So these two disputed facts, I found that it is something which is where again the burden is on the department.
No, see, isn't the department right in saying that the GSTR 1 and 3B is your self-assessed returns. You didn't disclose anything there. So I presume that you have suppressed some facts. That's all they are saying.
See, I'll tell you one more thing here. Like in one of the case, what has happened, they have not disclosed the exempt supply, but they have reversed the input tax credit to the extent of exempt supply. Just I'm trying to bring out the fact why 74 should not be applicable. Just as a point of allegation, I'm just trying to think on that. The show cause notice has just said that you have not declared in your 3B, but it was declared in 9, and always, and even my input tax credit mechanism, which we have applied, that is giving a bifurcation of input tax credit pertaining to my taxable supply and exempt supply. And to that extent, we have complied with the law. So indirectly, we cannot say that there is a suppression because already my calculation has considered the exempted turnover, and to that extent, it has already been reversed. So indirectly, we can say that there is nothing suppression. It was already disclosed and computed, and tax liabilities are paid. And as it is not having any implication, it is already disclosed in GSTR 9 also. So I think even that aspect also has to be tested. Whenever this exempt supply is not considered as not disclosed as such in GSTR 1, but it is considered in 9.
40 to 40.
So that also helped us out. So that way also we can think on that.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Actually, ma'am, that's from the merit to the technical ground. Yes, very good point. Yes, ma'am. I'll take a note.
Madam, so if you look at whatever you said, so department made an allegation and you have proved that yes, it is not a suppression. So isn't it that you have onus to prove that?
No, see, the department has issued me the 74 notice, right?
Correct.
And it was covering the extended period of limitation and trying to impose the tax. So I
Correct.
am saying, see, if I have to prove that there is no suppression, I have to bring out the evidence to prove that there is no intention. So indirectly, I have disclosed. I have not shown the exempt supply in my column, but I have considered it for my reversal of credit, and to that extent, I have complied with that law. So indirectly, it is in the record of the department, and already it has been disclosed in GSTR 9 also. So there is a provision to include all the consolidated information in GSTR 9 and 9C. I have disclosed in that. So according to me, there is no suppression as such. And if we read strictly the definition of suppression, which has been defined in 74 also, it is already been in the record in our computation and in our consolidated information. So to that extent, 74, I can try to say that it is not applicable. That is what. See,
But department can make allegation. All that I'm saying is department can make allegation and will make allegation.
Yes. See, ultimately the burden is on the department in the case of extended period of limitation. So to that extent, only saying that there is an omission or commission is not sufficient. Now, there should be a basis for saying that why there is a levy. There are all the criteria has to be satisfied. You just cannot say that there is a difference. Say, for example, 5 of 9C. They will say yes, all are taxable supply. So they have to prove what kind of supply it is, what kind of taxable supply it is, and then they have to arrive the value, they have to arrive the tax. They just cannot tell that the difference is liable to GST. So that's what I'm saying. In this case, where Abhishek is trying to say that it is exempted supply, and he is trying to give that evidence of all that exempted supply, that is one aspect. But second aspect is also that we can test it by this way and try to say that already it has been in the record of the department, so there is no suppression as such.
Can we take
Okay,
this
sorry, Abhishek, I'm just cutting.
Sorry. Yes.
If the disclosure in 9 is also not done, thinking that anyhow it's exempt supply, no levy,
Yes.
can the 74 be invoked?
Still, that's what I'm saying. If you read strictly the definition of suppression, they are somewhere trying to say that it has to be there in the return. It has to be there in the return. They have not said any kind of return, but it has to be disclosed. That is a one way. If it is not disclosed in 9C, even 3B also, still we can try to use this saying that for our computation of reversal, we have already considered this. So indirectly, it has been brought into the record of the department. That is what we tried in one of the case actually. So I'm not telling that something is there, but we have to try to bring out to say that first we have to test on extended period of limitation with this data, whatever he has considered. So I think that also can be one more submission we can try to see here. Because if you read strictly the suppression, it's very extended.
So exactly. So now you are saying somewhere it is there, whether in 9 or 1 it is there, so no suppression. But
yes,
what will you say if it is not there in any of the place?
Even the reversals.
No, but still, it is burden is on the revenue only, not to prove that there is a tax liability. They just cannot.
No,
assert
they
that
are only saying that there is a suppression.
I know that's what there is a suppression. I agree that, but somewhere we are trying to bring out that even in this case, if there is no reversal has been done, no exam, because let us presume they don't have any ITC as such.
Any common ITC, let's presume,
There is
there
no
is no
common ITC.
requirement to
Yeah,
reverse. Let's
yeah,
do that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there is no reversal as such. Let us presume that also.
Interest,
And they
Yeah,
have,
right.
yeah,
Right.
they have not disclosed in 9, but 9C somewhere, if you see table 5 will have some information in that. Whether it is a very consolidated information in 5O, because when we are going to reconcile our books of accounts in 5 to 5 table, I think somewhere that consolidated difference amount will have some component of this turnover also. So without that, my 5 GSTR 9C is not filed. So somewhere we can try to test there also. That is a one way. And second aspect is, let us presume they have not filed 9C also. Then in that case, we have to see in the notice itself how they are arriving the difference turnover, because whole fact itself will change accordingly, because they are not having
Right.
any information. So accordingly, again, our submission will change accordingly. So why I was trying to tell here is because in this issue, I was saying that they also have looked into 74 for this aspect. So directly, I think we can look that way also. That is only one point of view.
Okay, so now will you agree that 74 notice can be valid?
74 notice they are issuing, but according to me, it is not a suppression. I'm just trying to prove that. There's no suppression as such here. Because there is no suppression.
I got you. So I might be deviating by asking the question. So now the notice allegation is the 74 versus 73 is qua notice or qua points in the notice. So now I am convinced that there is a suppression. Now in the course of the point, there is another point, the 16 ITC which is availed, reported and availed, is blocked by the officer. Now, one point in the notice is 74. So, will he continue the whole of the journey as 74?
So for 74, can I say
Last
something?
time we discussed this point, one of our sessions. I mean, it is 74 has to be a notice per, I mean, it's whole of the notice. It cannot be like issue wise, one is 73, one is 74. Again, one more point here is like, as far as suppression is concerned, mere suppression is insufficient. Suppression with an intention to evade
Exactly.
tax is important. So
Oxford
those
comma, yeah.
ingredients of tax evasion has to be proved if 74 has to pitch in.
Right. Abhishek, you were saying something, I have cut you.
So sorry, the same point. Evade tax might be an important thing which we have to consider before considering it to be 74.
Venu sir, also on your point, like the moment allegation, I mean, whether it is whatever be the subject matter of dispute, it is on the department because self-assessment is carried out by the assessee and that is being rejected. But there are various precedents. I'm sure Annapurna Kapra ma'am and others also can, add their point here. Because as far as exemption is concerned, the burden is on the taxpayer, no?
Yeah, in case of exemption, I agree that yes, it is always on the assessee, whoever is claiming the exemption. But if there is and even if there is any ambiguity also in that exemption, still the burden is on that taxpayer only, and the taxpayer only can enjoy that. But it can be interpreted in favor of revenue also. If you are not able to substantiate all that conditions, evidence of exemption, then always it will be in the favor of revenue. I think
Which is the Pratibha processor, sir?
Dilip Kumar.
Dilip
Supreme
Kumar.
Court decision, yes,
That,
yes.
okay.
Hello,
Yes.
ma'am. I just have one thing to add here. I remember reading it somewhere that see in section 70 of the KVAT Act, 70 or 71, the burden of
70.
claiming the exemption. So the burden of proving the eligibility of ITC and claiming exemption was on the taxpayer. But if we cut short to 155 in GST, the burden to prove the eligibility of exemption is missing. Only the ITC part is there. So can we draw a parallel to say that for the exemption bit, if the department will say that how the exemption is not applicable, and not for the taxpayer to prove that the exemption is applicable.
Vinay, I think you have referred section 70 of KVAT Act, right?
70,
So first of all,
correct.
yes, see, section 70, there was always a discussion on that, and similarly they try to bring out in 155, but there is a change in the wordings which they have used in section 70, and basically I think Ecom Gill and Backward Industry Karnataka High Court case has already discussed on that. So let us not discuss on VAT aspect. There is a separate conditions which were there for ITC. So let us not look that aspect now. But it has not spoken anytime on the exemption aspect. They have just was considered only for ITC. So I think exemption, the burden of proof is always on the separate aspect, and credit burden of proof is always on the different aspect. So 155, there is a specific section only for ITC. So I cannot bring out exemption in 155. So for 155, there are precedents where they are trying to say that burden of proof to claim the exemption is always on the SSE. But if there is any ambiguity, or if you are not able to satisfy the condition of exemption notification, then it will be by the department. It will be in the favor of department. So, Vinay, hope I'm able to
because I
explain
remember
that.
reading this in one of the cases.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I get your point. So I brought this out because I remember reading one of the cases wherein they have distinguished, the claim of the burden of.
I think they have distinguished between exemption and concession. I remember in one of the decision, they are trying to say that what is the difference between the exemption and concession. So is it a concession or is it a exemption? If it is a concession, then we have to look ITC aspect. But if it is a exemption, then again the burden of proof is on the SSE actually, with all that whether he's entitled for that exemption or not. I agree in both the cases it is on the SSE, whether it is an exemption notification or eligibility of credit. But for eligibility of credit, it is mandated by 155 and 70 of KVAT Act. But for exemption, there is no specific section in the GST law. So basically, we are trying to borrow the principles from the precedents and trying to say that burden of proof is on the taxpayer.
Okay, because I remember reading this in one of the GST cases only. I'm not able to recall this. If I can get it, I'll share it. Wherein this was distinguished and said for in GST the burden of proving the if someone is saying you're not eligible, it's for them to dispute. And then this contrast was drawn and saying in GST there is no burden to prove the eligibility of exemption, which was present in the erstwhile law. So I thought I'll just bring out this point.
Yeah, just bring out that because I remember only reading the Dilip Kumar, that is a Supreme Court judgment. But if there is anything as a Supreme Court judgment, you can let me know, or any other judgment where it is.
I'll see if I can get that.
Yeah.
I don't exactly recollect which one it is, but I'll certainly search for it.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah.
But then if that is the position, then it's a easy call for the SSE to just put in exemption and ask the department to keep on proving on that. Maybe that may not be the, Anyways, if we get that handy, we may definitely discuss in the group. That will help help everyone.
Sure, ma'am. I'll search for it.
Again, section 59 is the king, as let's say. If the section 59 is self-assessed by the SSE, can this be disturbed lightly by the department? See, if it is not self-assessed, or it is at that stage of investigation, or in say in the case of audit, now the department can ask the SSE to prove whether it is exempt, bring all the evidence and other things. But if they directly issue a notice under 73 or 74, can they disturb the section 59 assessment lightly without proving the case? Is my doubt.
So then in that we can say that 28 says that books of accounts are not reliable source of evidence in absence of corroboration. So 13B is not cannot be the source of.
What is that, Abhishek? 28. What is that?
Yeah, section 20 of the BSA Act says earlier it was 34 of evidence law. that
Huh,
the books
okay.
of accounts cannot be the reliable source
Okay,
of
okay.
evidence
Yeah, okay.
without the
34 of
audit.
the old, yeah.
Yeah. So what Mailer sir was saying, that if it is a self-assessed thing in 99C, then it cannot be casually questioned, right, Malay sir?
Correct. Without any proof.
Hmm. So what do we have to conclude something? And
I think 28 we will use only if department says that, look, your books only says that this is, this is so and so, but then you have not disclosed that in the returns appropriately. Something like that. If that point comes in, then section 28 could be relevant, no?
yes, ma'am.
But in this instant case, what we are discussing, it is all going harmoniously with books. Only point is that it is missed out in reporting in 1 and 3B and directly reported in 99C.
Right. Because sometimes in the grounds, we put this line that my books of accounts are wrong. So please do not consider as a sometimes we put this in certain cases that my books of accounts is wrong and it cannot be a part of the evidence. So my 1-3 can always be wrong if it is not corroborative. If it is not confirmed from our side, the 1-3 can always be wrong. Okay, so we conclude this. So the first point we got it from ma'am is that 74 can be challenged, and the allegation of the exemption need to be first remain on the SSE. But if it comes, what Vinay sir told just mentioned, that if a new learning can be taken from the judgment, that whether exemption for in the case of exemption also, the burden remains on the department or not, right? And the alternative thought process was what Mailer sir pointed out, that section 59 remains supreme, and if it remains supreme, then merely a discrepancy or differences in 9C and 1 should not be the reason to get the notice, and we should challenge that then and there and ask for an evidence of the allegation, right? We have this two views. Anything, then we will proceed.
Abhishek.
Yes, sir.
My only point is if it is not disclosed in 9, since the department is making allegation that this is taxable, they can still issue it under 74 under extended period because it is a suppression of.
Sir, in 74 we have three things: willful misstatement, suppression, and fraud.
Correct.
So will this be a willful misstatement or suppression?
Department is saying that it is taxable.
Pardon, sir?
Department is saying it is taxable.
If it is taxable, sir, but my 9C is having those figure as exempted.
That's what I'm
saying.
Then there cannot say suppression. If it is
Right.
not 99C, they can continue on the point saying that this is suppression.
Right, sir.
That's the only point I'm bringing.
Right, sir. Right.
But Venu sir, there is a conjoining condition along with the word suppression with an intention to evade tax. That has to be also proved by the department.
That is what department is saying, that this is a taxable turnover and they're levying the tax. So the turnover was never disclosed anywhere, and there is a tax being created. That's what we have looked in the fact that they're saying that this is taxable turnover.
No, got it. See now, but tax evasion, I think sir in the book has brought out 4 conditions to, substantiate the existence of tax evasion. Abhishek, you have it handy, those four.
No, ma'am, that book is not with me.
I mean, what do you call that? The assessee should have, benefit derived out
Intention,
of it.
benefit, or retain.
Yeah, that one.
Page number 329, I remember, but I don't have the book right now.
I think I have it. 1 second. Yeah, I got it. Non-payment of tax or claim of credit or refund. That is first point. Knowledge about existence of liability or inadmissibility of credit to or refund. Use of device of means to conceal or blend, leaving detection impossible. Gains derived by misadventure interrupted in inquiry. So these four things has to be. I mean, I will share that in the group actually. Yeah.
When I was concluding, coming back to you, you were of a view that if it is not even disclosed in 99C, then 74 would prevail.
Yes.
Yes, sir. I also second that. If it is not disclosed even in 99C anywhere.
Yeah.
In fact, I also agree with Annapurna ma'am that even if it is not disclosed, but 42, 43 reversal considered, then also we can say that it's merely an omission. But if it is not considered altogether in the
No,
reversal,
assuming there is no 42, 43.
exactly. Then to sir, it's altogether difference is there and it's not considered. The department
See,
holds
what
out.
if, see, now even in the absence of reversals, what if I've claimed only eligible credits? I have not even touched common credits or there are no common credits.
But again, ma'am, when I'm allocating, you need to prove something, na? If let's say
No,
if
see,
it is
now,
interest
now,
income,
now, let's say department comes out on the strategy saying that, hey, look, even your reversals are not there, but you have claimed exemption. For that point to be made again, it has to substantiate that allegation, isn't it?
right? So in my example, interest income was there. Interest income 9C in 9 we have shown. We have never considered 1(3)(b). We have not done the reversal because for the
See,
purpose of
for
42.
interest anyways, the law provides an exception, no?
Exactly.
42, 43 doesn't apply. So,
Exactly.
I mean, the point is that just because apparently there is no reversal doesn't indicate that there is no exemption. So, I think, the moment we take it upon us, it's a whole lot of a thing we have to do to satisfy them. So I think, I mean, the learning point here is we have to be careful not to shift the, burden onto the taxpayer in any of our replies, unless you're pretty sure that on merits, on submission of documents, it can get closed at the adjudication stage or whatever
Yes.
the way they say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I never thought creating this when I was drafting this that it will go so deep. Good learning. When it says Jatin sir occupied somewhere,
Yes.
missing his views.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll some move further.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, this is so more to adjustment of excess output tax paid in the earlier period against the output tax liability of the later period. For let's say for the subsequent year, we got a notice that the short payment of tax was made and the demand was with interest and thing. Okay. Here, undisputed facts are output tax was paid in excess by the taxpayer in an earlier tax period. In a subsequent tax period, the taxpayer withheld full extent of the output tax payable, adjusting against the past excess payment. No credit note and no refund was filed. What are disputed facts? Whether the taxpayer's self-adjustment is legally valid under GST, whether Section 34 applies in this context, given no credit note was issued, whether the short payment in the later period qualifies as default liable to interest, whether the taxpayer's adjustment was done in bona fide. Yes, sir.
Choose
Okay.
reply చేసింది.
నిన్న చూసావా ఆమె క్వశ్చన్స్ అడిగిందని నేను
Okay. Okay. And if just moving further, the thing which I wanted to ensure is that the reporting of negative values of 1 and 3B was only introduced from 17 February 2023, right? Having said that, the relevant facts from the provision are 3454 and no express provision of CGST guide us on the suo moto thing, right? And the facts in the issue remains that whether the excess tax paid in an earlier period can legally be adjusted or not, whether withholding of output tax in a subsequent period constitutes short payment under 50, and whether taxpayers' conduct amounts to be self-sanctioning of refunds, which is prohibited under the law, and whether interest is still payable or not. This remains the facts in the issue. So the department would prove by showcasing that 1 and 3B shows excess in one period and short in subsequent period, ledger level tax payable versus tax paid comparisons. No refund application was ever made. No credit note was ever made by the department perspective. For the taxpayer perspective, the evidence would have been tax challans paid, working papers showing computation and logic of adjustments, absence of tax evasion or intention to conceal, no revenue loss, and bona fide belief by internal accounting things. So the primary burden would be on the department to prove that the adjustment is not permissible under the law, that the taxpayer has not complied with any procedural safeguards, and that the output tax is the later period was short paid in violation of GST law. And if it does, then again, the accounting and the internal thing which the taxpayer has maintained need to be used as an evidence to prove his burden that there is no short payment altogether. So we have received this one case in practically, and the officer denied, and he has confirmed the demand. So we have gone to appeals, and he is saying that no, I am only bothered for the, let's say, financial year 22-23, and I have not bothered what you have done excess payment in 21-22. I'm not assessing 21-22. I will not open it.
Circular 26 for 2017 will help us.
Pardon, sir?
26 by 2017.
Right, sir. We refer that that 26-17 instructs that in subsequent returns we can always adjust, always pay. But again, it is still under appeal. So from there, I put this point of scenario. Any
So
points
you
of
have paid in advance, right? Here in this case,
yes, ma'am.
you are paid in advance, right?
Yes, ma'am. The previous year
So
we have paid.
only the year wise there is a issue, right?
Right, ma'am.
So why 17 will come? Circular 17 will not come, no? Because anyway here there's nothing that which you have adjusted in future, because circular 26/17 will come if you're setting it off at a later period. So in this
So,
case, I think it is more or less you are paid in advance as such.
yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, what happened is 21-22 we have paid in advance 1 lakh rupees extra.
Right.
22-23 we have short paid to adjust the same amount.
Even
Negative,
beyond September, huh?
yes, ma'am. Let's say even beyond September. Ma'am, because the negative thing in the portal only came after 2023, 17 February 23. If it had been there, we would have adjusted accordingly.
Okay. All payments are through 3B only, right? Not
Yes,
through DRC3.
exactly. Yes, ma'am.
Mhm.
So since I lost the matter in the first adjudication, so I thought to discuss this. It might be quite silly to discuss, but again, I was looking for point of view that what could be done.
In one of the case, what has happened is it is vice versa of this. They have paid for the earlier years in the current year actually. So, but what happened while they are paying in DRC3, they have not referred the respective financial year. So
Okay.
they have shown all the payments in the current year only. But
Okay.
that payment was pertaining to last 3 to 4 years actually. So year-wise, they were supposed to do that DRC3 so that it get appropriated to that year liability. So department was not agreeing with that, because he said, I am only adjudicating this current year. So whatever the payments you have made, I will appropriate against the current liability, and past liability, whatever it is there, you just pay it with interest or claim the refund, whatever excess you have paid in the current year. So again, if I pay current year, if I apply for refund in the current year, then again I end up paying with interest for all my earlier years. So I think this is also one of the issue which has happened in one of the case. So I think that is more
harmful. Yes.
harmful than this one actually.
Actually,
Because here already money has gone to the pocket
Right.
of government.
Right.
So you can save interest. Yes.
Abhishek, in your case, what was the nature of the error which resulted in excess payment in the first instance?
Ma'am, actually what happened is the client raised invoices in one, uploaded invoices in one, accordingly paid in subsequently in 3B. Later on, they realized the invoice need to be shift out of the books of accounts. So they deleted the invoice, the invoices to 000. So ideally, they landed up paying excess of tax in 3B.
There was
Since it-
no amendment carried out in GSTR 1.
Amendment is carried out in the one, the invoices were made to 00, but the taxes was paid.
Okay, so there was a mismatch in GSTR 1 and 3B in the earlier period.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so even after you pointed out that mismatch in 1 and 3B and how you paid excess in 3B, in that particular period, it was not accepted at the first adjudicating authority.
Exactly. Point says that the officer was assigned only the subsequent financial year. Previous financial year, it might be that you have paid for the, let's say 2021. He told me verbally that Abhishek, you are very smart. This might be an area of the more for the previous years, and you would have paid in 3B, and now we are shifting it to again the next year. So I will not make my hands dirty. I am passing an order, go and appeal.
Okay.
The waterfall effect which we did in ITC, they were they were presuming to be done in this.
This did we show in table 11 of GSTR 9, sir?
Pardon me?
Did we show this in table 11 of GSTR 9? This adjustment that we have done in the subsequent years.
Honestly, we're supposed to do. I don't remember exactly because compliance
Okay.
is not done by us, but I have to check.
If that's there, maybe that can be a reason to say that previous year's adjustment has happened in the current year.
Okay, the table 10, 11, 12, 13 part. Yes.
Because 10 and 11 was mandatory all along. Only 12,
Right.
13 was not mandatory.
Exactly. Okay. So
Also, we faced an issue, sir, where DRC3 was done, like Annapurna ma'am's scenario, wherein IGST was supposed to be reversed as ITC. So what the client did, they reversed everything under different state code. So whenever it's an IGST ITC, technically it's Karnataka for me if I'm situated in Karnataka, the places applied. So what the client did, they went with the vendor's location and they reversed all the IGST according to the state where the vendor belongs to. So this also was another mistake. Luckily, the officer didn't notice this. But assuming that it comes up, how do we save this kind of a situation? But the entire amount was reversed, the ITC part.
see, the moment we shift to ITC, the evidence law indicates clearly that ask everything from the officer first.
So that is for the claim of credit, right? But this is, I'm talking about reversal.
Yeah.
I've accepted the reversal, I've done the reversal, but while I filed GSTR, DRC 03, I did a mistake in selecting the place of supply. What should have gone as Karnataka, but has gone as different states from where the vendors are.
Right.
This IGST Act uses the word only IGST. It will not classify into so many IGST. IGST, I took IGST, I reversed. Under which provision you have done a mistake?
When you do DRC 03,
no, provision I'm asking.
As such, there is no, yeah. Provision wise, I'm not able to think on anything. But
In
when
rule
I
or
got
provision, you have done a violation, I'm asking.
not able to think on any rule or provision. See, when I got, it was IGST of bearing the place of supply as Karnataka. When I reversed, it's something else.
Yeah, got the point. Maybe Mylar is coming on the point that cause of action. What is the cause of action of demand for government? Correct, no, Mylar?
Understood.
See, this is also like
Get
most of
extended
us, whenever we get any this thing, the easiest way we think is how do we substantiate it? We forget about questioning it. And that goes so naturally for us, like, we think of how to substantiate.
In the scenario when the allegation is made by the officer, let's say that if the tax is short paid, he will only put the evidence that there's a difference again in 1 and 3B, let's say. The same difference will prevail in table 9 of GSTR 9. Can we still ask him, can we still say that the burden is still on the taxpayer, that what is HSN code, what is the time of supply of the tax demanded, or will it be too much?
Isn't it so? Taxpayer is the one who is doing business. Isn't it his duty to explain all of this? How will the officer know?
Right, sir. So, just I was evaluating when a department is issuing a notice with an allegation that there is a short payment of tax. Is he supposed to give, along with the allegation, evidences, information, and cause of action?
Should you expect this in the show cause notice or demand order?
At least in demand notice, sir. Yes.
Demand order.
Yeah.
So while if it has to culminate and come to the demand order, now during the course of adjudication, he will do this inquiry, including he can issue section 70 summoning him to come and explain, no?
The entire adjudication will fail, sir. The entire adjudication will go for a task. Now he is issuing a show cause notice without satisfying the jurisdiction under section 73 or 74. To issue a show cause notice under 73, there should be a short payment. It is not with the suspicion of short payment. Now, investigation.
Allegation is there is short payment.
No, allegation cannot be suspicion and allegation, both are different. Allegation should be
Suspicion. See, 3B shows 90, R1 says 100, R9 says 100, everything says 100. 3B is saying 90, 10 rupees short paid.
No, in this example is fine, but you take another example where 3B there is a 90, books of accounts there is 100. Can straight away show cause notice be issued without satisfying the jurisdiction under the section.
No, that's what my lord. See, there has to be a cause of action. So case to case, the facts very much matter. Like if we are on this point saying that in 3B there is a short payment. Now your reason for that short payment is previous year you paid excess.
Correct.
So the show cause notice should also mention all these elements, right? Whether there was a supply, whether there is a levy.
It is
Why only?
R9 and R1 no, Kuber.
I agree. See, there can be a typo, there can be a declaration of excess, reporting of excess turnover, there can be a error, inadvertency in reporting the tax liability, all those things are there. Just because something has been reported there, of course, it is a self-assessment under Section 59. Of course, it is a self-assessment under Section 59, but mere differences whether the show cause notice is valid. The show cause notice, when it is issued, it
Show
should have
cause
all that.
valid, but order will not be valid.
So Kuber sir, can we be mischievous enough to not to share a proper reply before show cause? The allegation, let's say, made in ASMP 10 level or audit level, we are in a passive cooperation stage. Subsequently, we get a show cause notice without this evidences, and then we challenge the show cause altogether.
Yeah, show cause notice. See, pre-show cause notice, what was the approach, that is entirely different. Now we are talking about show cause notice. Whether the show cause notice issued on mere differences between R1 and 3B is correct, valid or invalid.
Right, sir.
So 100 rupees in GSTR 1, 90 rupees in 3B, 10 rupees can he demand based on this difference, and the department can issue show cause notice, and that show cause notice is valid. See, show cause notice comes after there is pre-SCN proceedings. It can be 65, it can be 61.
And sir is guided well in the book that it has to be 4 pillars: allegation, evidence, information, cause of action.
So even in the show cause notice, if the officer is not able to justify or establish
The
those
evidence,
mandatory
information.
elements, then whatever we were discussing about burden of proof, Annapurna madam, Kabra madam were saying, burden of proof is still on the department, right?
Over one more aspect here, I concur with your view. One more is like, see, 73 and 74, it has to look only on the aspect of non-payment of taxes or short payment of taxes. I think it should be within that limb of that wrong availment or wrong utilization or erroneous refund. So this issue, what Abhishek is trying to say, that there was an excess payment in the previous year. So can we say that it is not even within the limb of that 73 or 74, that 5 ingredients which are required for 73? Because there is nothing like on that turnover they have made any short payment or as such. Only there is a adjustment of taxes which are paid excess has been appropriated in the current next year. So can we also try to look that aspect also? I was just thinking when I was looking this case study as such.
So the fact is already introduced. The fact is taken on record that there was an excess payment of tax in the previous tax period. That excess payment of tax is getting adjusted in the current tax period.
Correct. So I'm saying that there is nothing like there is short payment or non-payment. There is no such on the transaction, right?
Agreed. All these facts were introduced by the taxpayer in the pre-show cause notice proceedings.
Yes.
That's when the show cause notice, that's rejecting all the evidences, rejecting all the facts that were introduced in the pre-show cause notice proceedings. The officer is now issuing the show cause notice. Now there can be two things. One, the taxpayer is not able to discharge his burden of proof. Having introduced this evidence in the pre-show cause notice, there is something which is left undischarged to the satisfaction of the tax officer. That should be the basis for issuance of show cause notice. And if the burden of proof is to discharge, and if it is to the satisfaction of the officers, then there is no question of issuing the show cause notice, no?
Correct, but I'll just tell you one thing, that officer is computing for the current liability and he's finding that there is some difference which is liable to be paid, right? Let us forget that he's trying to prove that there was an excess payment in the earlier year. But whether the earlier assessment order has given an assessment order saying that there was an excess payment of tax, because the taxpayer cannot take a self-assessment saying that I have paid excess in the past years, so that has to get appropriated in my current year. I think that is also wrong on the part of the taxpayer. right? So
Yeah,
I cannot give
correct.
such contention saying that I've already paid excess, so I will not pay. That may not be the submission which we can take it. So if there is a short payment of tax in that respective year, I think that has to be proved only by way of adjudication of the earlier years. So
Correct.
I
Exactly.
cannot,
Coming back to the question, what Venu
yeah,
was posing,
yeah,
Showcase notice merely cannot demand the tax
correct,
based on the differences between 1 and 3B,
correct. And there
particularly
are
in the
provision of
exemption.
7512 we are having, DRC 1B we
Yeah.
are having, DRC 1D we are having. So I think that is already the route which has already been come out for this 1 and 3B. Yeah, I
Venu
think you were
sir.
saying something, sorry. Yeah.
No, this exactly, that's the reason why I mentioned that, okay, Showcase notice cannot propose to demand the tax merely based on the differences.
Correct.
Kuber,
Yes, sir.
see, if we are expecting the show cause notice to be perfect like an order, then you need to create a DRC01A and do complete adjudication, then issue DRC01. Here the ASMT 10 could be issued. Now in the ASMT 10, we expect them not to ask any more information and take B with it. After ASMT 10, it has to be, according to me, DRC01 and it cannot be 1 year. See, I am of a view that show cause notice is only asking to show cause why it has not to be treated this way. And he is also giving a reasoning, saying that in R1 and R9, you have shown your turnover and liability as 100, but you have paid taxes only as 80 in 3B. Why this differential 20 cannot be demanded? Now we go back and explain and come. In the order, he can come back and say, I agree with that, do not agree with that. Order has to be detailed and reasoned. Show cause notice need not be detailed and reasoned, and I haven't seen any judgment where they have disproving because the show cause notice was not detailed. It was all the High Court judgments. Order was not reasoned, hence they have dismissed the case.
I agree.
And
Consider an example. Where they have not paid the taxes on a particular supply.
Right.
Well, sir, don't you think that the show cause notice should identify that supply? It should identify the HSN place of supply, time of supply, all these mandatory elements
Right.
before they propose to levy the tax.
Both are permitted. They can, in the interest for the want of it, they can also issue a show cause notice saying that there is income that is missed, and I'm just proposing a tax of 18%.
That show cause notice is invalid. That show cause notice is invalid. If they issue the show cause notice without addressing all these, when the incidence of tax arises, we know all these 15 mandatory elements. So unless those 15 mandatory elements are proved to have been existed,
right,
there cannot be even a proposal. The show cause notice should contain Govind sir and Gangar sir. We have read all these things.
Exactly, agreed, Kumar. Will you reply to the notice? Yeah.
We know, see, if it is not there in the show cause notice, I'll just tell you one thing. And if they have not allegated, you are saying that order can cover all that. If you read, what?
The allegation.
No, why I'm saying is, I'll just give you an example. You just let me know. For example, a doctor is providing a services of healthcare, right? As well as there is I'm just giving a simple example. He's providing a healthcare services, as well as he's also selling the medicines, right? There is a medicine counter which he has opened separately where he's selling the medicine. He's asking the the customer to just take my consultancy. If you want, you buy the medicines from there or you can buy outside. This is the one thing he's doing. Now he's collecting the consultancy charges. He's collecting the, there is a medicine counter which they are selling that medicine. Now the issue is, the department has issued the notice saying that you are liable for GST, right? He has just issued a consolidated amount, considering his in whatever the turnover is getting. He's taken that turnover, consolidated turnover, and he said 1 crore, 2 crore, 3 crore, whatever it is. He has come out with that turnover. Now the issue is show cause notice is saying that you are liable to pay GST at 18% on these services, on this turnover, whatever you are having for last 3 years. Now the issue is this show cause notice is not given a what kind of supply it is. It has not come out with as such. It has not classified the services as such.
Correct.
And the second thing is it has not brought out any SAC code or any HSN code in that service. The
Correct.
third aspect is show cause notice cannot be having a doubt. It cannot be an ambiguity. It cannot have that ambiguity. There should be a clarity. There should be a allegation or reason by the department saying that why they are thinking that at 18% and what kind of supply it is. Is it a taxable supply, exempted supply? So today, I know there is some taxable component in this transaction. There is some exempted component in this transaction, but he just cannot rely on turnover of balance sheet or profit and loss account and just say that it is leviable in show cause notice. And finally, in the order, he cannot say that, yes, to the extent of healthcare services, it is exempted, to the extent of medicine, it is liable. That is not the proceeding which he has to follow now. Because he has to substantiate in the notice that yes, whatever the turnover you are having, everything is pertaining to the sale of medicine. So I'm just trying to bring out that example in a simple manner so that we
can
understand.
continue the same example. We can continue the same example.
Now
Show
I'm just trying to
will only say sale of medicines was 1 crore. What you shown is 20 lakhs. 80 lakhs, which is there in your P&L filed income, is also a medicine sale, and medicine could be 5, 12, 18. I am only putting 18%. I have issued a show cause notice.
Yes.
I have issued. Turnover is in P&L. Now it is in healthcare, which is an exempt turnover.
Yes.
So
what? Yeah. So we as a taxpayer, I will have to prove that yes, this is healthcare service or this is medicine. But what I'm trying to say, when he is going to issue the notice, he has to bifurcate, he has to classify the service, he has to tell under which classification of service he is trying to allegate that there is a levy. He just generally cannot say, yes, this is your turnover, pay 18%. That is not the that is not a, it is full of ambiguity.
If you said as a taxpayer, I'll reply to him, this is healthcare service and it is exempt, correct?
Only I will reply when I am able to classify, when he is trying to say that it is a taxable, then I have to prove that yes, it is exempted. But what I'm trying to say, he has not brought out any classification.
That is what I'm saying. After you say that it is exempt, demand order cannot say same like show cause notice. Demand order has to be reasoned why it is not healthcare, why it is medicine. That is what I'm trying to tell the Kuber is there would be a difference between show cause notice and demand order. There has to be a demand order, but show cause notice can have allegations.
Yes, because based on our submission, based on evidence, they can
allegations without supporting are only assumptions. Don't you think so?
Always have assumptions, no, Kuber. My tax return shows
allegation cannot be assumption. Assumption is where it is unsupported. See, you are only assuming one tax liability is higher than 3B. So that assumption is not an allegation.
Sir, can show cause notice be issued without RUDs?
See, here the RUD is your IT return and your R1. That's all.
IT return, again, we can substantiate per se.
No, I'm just trying to say, see, that is a one aspect. See, 26 years, all that IT return. I'm just trying to say that let us take today examples, what it is going around for Paytm. Let us take that example also. They are just considering the Paytm amount and they are trying to issue the notices. That's what we are looking into the media also and trying to look into that aspect. So can they just say that, yes, in your Paytm, you have this much amount and so based on that, you're liable. They just cannot arrive what kind of business it is, what nature of services. So I think even that has also to be tested before issuing the show cause notice. They can call for information, but they cannot issue the show cause notice saying that this is liable or you have not registered. All that requires some basic criteria. That's what I understand. They can issue the show cause notice saying that why you have not registered, but they cannot issue the show cause notice saying that you are liable for GST, all that. So I think basic criteria which are required for show cause notice should be there in show cause notice.
Abhishek.
आपका केस कहाँ से कहाँ चला गया अभिषेक?
Madam, what if the show cause notice is bad? Okay, now what?
Huh?
What is that show cause notice is bad? I am the proper officer. I am drafting the show cause notice only in this way. This is how I'll do. Now what?
You can issue one more show cause notice, I'm saying. It has to be a proper show cause notice. Now, otherwise, the proceeding itself will get dropped.
How?
See, it is not fulfilling all the requirements of show cause notice.
Your appeal
Right?
is always against order, not on show cause notice.
Yes. But order will be passed only within the purview of show cause notice. Na? There cannot
Show
be
cause
further early.
not reasoned, order is
Whatever the
reasoned.
grounds, yes, order is reasoned, I understand. On what basis?
Basis your reply to the show cause notice.
No, but my reply will be only what you are raising the allegation, right?
How order can be reasoned, Venu,
Yeah.
in this case? 75(7). See, what is your ground? There is, you have only one ground. 3B is not matching with 1, or 1 is higher
Yes.
than 3B. So that is the only ground. Other than this ground, what else? What other ground you can take in the order? Because 75(7) is very clear.
Yeah. Yes.
Kuber, correct. So now, in my show cause notice, defense to that, madam is producing, I'm a doctor, I'm providing clinical services, everything. At that time in the order, I am saying that it is all supply of medicines, and I'm adding GP to the medicine, and I am putting the HSN of medicine, and I am continuing my show cause notice, which was not reason. I am giving reason why it is taxable.
You can extend the exemption, but you cannot confirm the tax liability on such grounds. Venu?
I am not able to recall. There was one decision. Kuber, I'm not able to recall. I remember in that now they have always said that there should be what it was. See, it was always on the taxing authorities to prove that it is a taxable, and they have to prove with the material. It can be any material, like here, RUD, what we are saying. So there has to be some source of information based on which they are issuing the show cause notice. So the source of information should also be evidencing the transaction. It cannot be just as like what we are trying to understand today. Paytms, they're just taking all the credits of Paytm and they are saying there is a levy of tax. So there should be some material to prove that yes, there is a supply, there is a time of supply, there is a place of supply, water, there is a value for that. So all the ingredients of the supply and the other ingredients should be fulfilled in the show cause notice. Otherwise, according to me, without that, even you can only challenge the show cause notice without entering to the merits of the case itself. So what Kuber is also trying to say that there should be some reason in the show cause notice saying that there is a levy of tax on that transaction. So as Venu, you are trying to say that yes, they can that reason can be given in order and it need not be in show cause notice. But there should be some, whenever they are coming out with allegation, they have to say why that allegation they have raised with all that supporting reason. Otherwise, it is a show cause notice without application of mind, or it is not reasoned. So all that incomplete show cause notice, ambiguity show cause notice. So I
Even
think
Paytm case of the thing, you cannot say that it is applicable without application. I am getting in my bank account 1 crore rupees by way of Google Pay, Phone Pay. I have not registered. I am raising a show cause why you shouldn't be registered, why GST cannot be levied. I have
Section, which section, Venu, sir?
Huh?
Which section, Venu, sir? Notice.
No.
ASMT 14, 63.
So 63.
Yeah. 63 they can issue. That is fine.
Correct.
Yeah. See, here the Venu is trying to come into the ingredients of show cause notice. Yes, Venu.
So I am not saying that the officer can be baseless in making the allegation. He has iota of doubt. He is reasoning that doubt.
He cannot pinpoint the entire ingredients of 9 in the show cause notice. It has to be in the order. In the show cause notice, he has to reason why he has that doubt. Maybe 26AS, maybe bank statement, maybe IT return, any of that. If that exists, show cause notice would survive. We cannot say that show cause notice cannot survive because HSN classification has not been given.
Substantiate your point, Venu, sir. How do you substantiate your point, Venu, sir?
It is a show cause. It is not an order.
Then what is the relevance of 75(7) then?
See, I am not jumping the ground. I am not saying that the ground between notice and order is changing. I am not saying that. Ground is same. It is not reasoned. I am not jumping in the order. In the notice, I'm talking about output tax. In the order, I'm talking about ITC. No. I am on the same ground. It's just not reasoned.
No, that is issue. That is issue. Ground should always have the, allegation should be substantiated. Otherwise, how it will be considered as a ground?
No.
And the other point is, if the evidence that the revenue is relying upon is not brought out in the show cause notice, how will the registered person get an opportunity to respond to those evidences that are being produced?
I am not saying that the evidence is not brought in. Evidence has been brought in, saying that your IT return you have disclosed 1 crore, but you have paid tax only on 20 lakhs. That I am bringing in.
Then what is the additional material that will come in the order?
Then in the order it will come that the 80 lakhs, was it taxable, was it exempt, what is HSN classification, everything will come into the order.
This ST3 versus income tax, there's a plethora of judgment in the tribunal to say that just by comparing this to the show cause notice cannot be issued. Vrindavan Beverages and Circular 1053, which clarifies how the show cause notice should be, how the content should be. Even Jharkhand High Court has upheld that the 1053 circular, which is issued under excise regime, is equally applicable in GST. Then, if that is the case, then the reason to believe and what appears to be stated in 73, 74, and there will not be any difference between investigation and adjudication. So you are bringing the aspect of investigation to the adjudication. Then why 74 is different? Why adjudication is different? Then everything will be investigation. What you are proposing to say that I will give a vague show cause notice, I will do adjudication. So then it is not adjudication, it is an investigation.
Correct, Myla. Now you have to see the reason why your DRC01 came. That is why I said from ASMT 10, the proceedings moved. It should be from either 61, 65, 67, right?
Correct. Even the statute safely uses the word 65, 73, 74. See, the proper officer has to decide whether he has a...
It landed into 61. From 61, it went to the show cause notice. Only if it is a direct show cause notice, I am saying that DRC01A would be served. The information is collected and the show cause notice would be issued, which would be more reasoned.
Collected. Whether again we see whether the taxable person is liable to produce the evidence in those stages. In the show cause notice, my responsibility is only to rebut the evidence which is placed by the authority. So again, it goes to say how we will reply to it, whether 160 subsection 2, whether it is countered or we make the show cause notice as a good. So all these points are important, I guess.
I think we are just trying to understand in summary that there cannot be a inquiry or investigation during the adjudication stage. So prior to issuing show cause notice, inquiry as well as investigation should be completed. Then only the show cause notice should be issued, right? So I think that is what we are trying to understand. Whereas,
yes. Sir always says, no, like show cause notice is culmination of investigation and commencement of adjudication.
Correct. Now, one point we are just trying to understand, and what Venu is trying to say that for taking this Paytm case, because he's not able to he's not able to know your transaction only based on relied upon information of Paytm. He's trying to issue the show cause notice, saying that why he should not be registered and why there should not be any levy of tax. So I think in that 63 notice, whatever that ASMT 14 case is there, only they are considering Paytm receipts, and they are trying to say that that is the estimation of turnover, right? So here the major crux will be why he should not be registered. I think that should be the crux in ACMT 14. I think from ACMT 14 it will lead to the order only, right? Actually, it will not lead to 73, 74. Okay. So then again the ingredients of show cause notice will fail, Venu. But without registration, even they will not understand what is their nature of business and what is the source of supply, what is the HSN. So I think with registration, if they're asking the information, I think Venu might be trying to understand that
Yeah,
that is a point where they can try to get the information.
And one more point, like because it is 63, it permits best judgment assessment. So
Yeah.
to what extent it is
Yes,
valid
to that
to
extent
take.
they can take that. Yes, that's what I'm saying. So in that case, I think with that Venu points can be considered. Otherwise, basic ingredients of show cause notice is required actually.
That's where, madam, I'm saying
Yeah.
if the is traveling from 61, 65, it has to be reasoned.
Yes.
The audit happened, like investigation happened. Now, out of the blue it is coming. That is where I'm saying there will be DRC 01A, which will do the analysis of it, and there would be a reasoned show cause notice.
So when it is coming from 61 or 63 or 62,
Just send
then
this. 26 says IT return is showing so much, but you have only given this much. Your reply is very short that these both are not matchable. This cannot be done, and I choose not to reply. Now, from there, he would only propose the tax, because in ASMT 10 he asked this.
No, he has other means. No, he can, if it is 61, he can convert it to 67 if the taxpayer is not cooperating.
No, taxpayer
all those
is
powers are
saying that
there.
I'm cooperating. Taxpayer says.
So when it comes to collating the information, no, they have many means to collect the information from the tax officer. If 61 proceedings, the taxpayer is not cooperating. Just
65
because
also,
there is
65 is also there, right?
just because taxpayer has not furnished the data or details to reason to give the findings or the grounds in the show cause notice, you cannot propose tax based on the differences. See, the best judgment point, what we were discussing, in that point also, see, how is this different from the assessing the tax liability on best judgment basis? Here also there is an element of best judgment. Best judgment is restricted to the difference between 3B and 1. Correct?
Correct.
So this is a best judgment only, right? Best judgment is what? You are best judging that the supply could be taxable at the rate of 18%, that there could be a supply, that there could be a goods or services. All these are best. You are judging, at your best judgment only, right?
Right.
So that's the limited point here. So therefore, in pre-SCN proceedings, 61 can be converted to 67 if there is a substantial evasion of tax, or the taxpayer is not cooperating, the taxpayer is not furnishing the data, details, books of accounts. So all those powers are there. You cannot, the tax officer cannot take a shelter saying that you have not furnished the data or the books of accounts or relevant documents, and therefore I propose to confirm the tax liability between the differences between 3B and 1. Was the limited point.
And if that happens, what would be the reply, Kuber?
If only if there is a, if SCN is only saying there is a difference.
Right.
Actually, 1-3B difference, there is an alternate point, which I've seen in Sir's draft, because 7512 is there, DRC 1B should be the root and not the
Exactly.
7374, because when law has prescribed for a more specific provision, you can't use this general provision. And coming
Right.
back to this aspect of best judgment assessment,
There, but 7512, it directly goes to 79.
DRC 1B.
1B, 1C.
Not necessary.
No, see,
Now
it is
it is compulsory. Now it is compulsory.
compulsory. It is.
After 1B and 1C being introduced, but 7512 was there before DRC 0, 1B and 1C was there.
After introduction of the explanation, again they inserted this full offer. So direct recovery should not be done. First, the department should
Yeah,
have
even that
then we can-
instruction is there, no? One instruction they have provided, no? Where they say that even though it is a direct recovery is permissible, still DRC 1B needs to be adhered to. Okay, coming back to this point on best judgment assessment, there is one paragraph in the show cause notice book. I just want to quickly read it to the benefit of all. There is, one point where sir is mentioning that even third party data can be the basis. So if okay, I will read this out. Might take 3-4 minutes. Should I?
Please.
While it is not supposed to be a wild guesswork, it is clearly a demand in respect of possibly non-existent turnover suspected to exist based on some material taken on record by proper officer. Taxpayers need to accept their omission to obtain registration and discharge liability or restore registration and discharge liability is the root cause of this best judgment determination of tax liability. Unlike Section 63, there are no instructions to guide proper officers, and since proper officer is seized of certain information that raises the question of undischarged tax liability should itself for the basis. Baseless best judgment is not authorized, but passionate exercise based on logical inference are likely to furnish the basis for such best judgment as a determination. Third party data can also be a basis. But unlike 62 or 64, proceedings in section 63 commence with the notice and not with an order. For this reason, the latitude permitted in law to the proper officer is not without checks and balances. Taxpayer is obliged to clarify the factual misinformation, if any, in the course of furnishing reply to this notice. However, taxpayer needs to be cautious not to expand the scope of notice by introducing new material not forming part of the notice. Enthusiasm tends to get the better of a person, especially one who believes that no liability to tax exists at all. This is so based on third party data, which is like Paytm is also third party data. I believe Paytm will form as technically third party data only, no?
Yes.
Yeah.
The data has come from CBIC.
Okay. Because of their MOU with the payment, this thing, is it? Or it's because if it is other statutory bodies, then they'll have an MOU. This they are regulating and fetching the data, na?
No. Banks and CBIC have the data interchange. That's where 26 ASTS came. CBT and CBIC, there is a thing. So CBDT shared the data to CBIC.
Okay. Okay, so sir has given few examples where he says that proper officer must consider nature of business of taxable person, taxable value most reasonably supported by information collected, determination of most appropriate HSN and effective tariff, application of appropriate time and supply of time and place of supply, and allowance of average input tax credit.
But for 63 case, you don't need to have all this.
No, 63. Sir is discussing notice under 63 only. Best judgment is not wild guesswork. Page 37 and 38 of the new book. 4th edition. Maybe, see, because we may have to revisit and take inputs from sir.
Kuber.
Yeah, we know.
In this Paytm cases, do you think should there be ASMT 14 first or section 70 first?
I think 67 first.
67.
No. 70 na 71 na.
70 ಇಲ್ಲ 67 ಇಲ್ದೇ ಇದ್ರೆ 70 ಹೆಂಗ್
70
ಬರುತ್ತೆ?
ಬರಲ್ಲ, ದಟ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್. ಸೊ 71
that's
ಕೇಳ್ತಾ
the
ಇದಾರಾ
reason.
ಏನು?
No.
71 ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದಾರಾ?
70
ಇಲ್ಲ.
67
A70
70
14.
ಸಂಬಂಧ ಇಲ್ಲ ನನ್ನ ಪ್ರಕಾರ. 65 during 65 also 70 can come.
No,
Six-
no, no.
No,
Even
No,
after
no, no,
70 can
no, no.
no chance.
Sir, I am
70
shifting
is
to Bangalore,
possible
sir.
only if there is only investigation that is ongoing.
Inquiry, not enquiry.
Inquiry, very true.
correct, Kuber. 70 is not a start. 70 in course of some discussion, 70 is like 65 audit. So you are not submitting the information. He can still summon.
No, we have received the summons.
Yeah.
I know this is the practice that the department is employing,
I am of
but
the
that
view
is
that
not a
it's right.
valid summon. But that is not a valid summon.
I am the view it is valid summon.
How? In what way? In the sense, that's exactly Annapurna madam mentioned. Inquiry. Audit is enquiry. Summons
During
is issued under inquiry.
correct, Kuber. See, during the course of audit, you have not produced information. You have not given any information that has been asked. Again, you can and call.
Then write to JC, get the 67 authorization.
Send it to enforcement or anti-evasion. They will come to 67 too.
So it cannot be everything 67 and only 70. I am of the view 70 is an independent project, not linked with 67.
Why it is used as inquiry and not enquiry, Venu sir?
No, I am still saying it is an inquiry. Inquiry doesn't necessarily only to be 67 tagged.
So you are saying audit is also inquiry,
Yeah.
not inquiry.
Okay. To the question, Kuber, for the Paytm cases, should ASMT 14 be first? If you say 70 cannot be there, then it is ASMT 14. If it is ASMT 14, they only have the information that his bank account, PAN linked bank account has a credit of 1 crore. Now tell me, how will he give a reasoned show cause notice saying that this is your HSN classification, you pay so much tax?
That's exactly why we are saying 63 is not is a wrong what I can say provision to initiate these proceedings.
So you are saying that all of them have to be investigated under 67?
Then only they can collect the information before issuing the show cause notice.
So the ATM thing can be a reason to believe, to invoke 67. They have to go to 67. They have to inquire what is their business. They have to see, they have to do investigation. They can issue a summons, call for them. They ask from where they purchase, what they purchase. Then they identify, then summarize it, then issue a show cause notice, then do adjudication, then demand.
So you are
Venu,
saying 63
Venu,
cannot.
just one point before going into this. What you were saying that inquiry can be done during audit. There is an instruction. I was just reading that instruction, 3/2223, where they have stated that summons cannot be issued in audit proceedings. So it's a very specific instruction which has been given.
Okay, madam, can you just share it, please?
Yeah, 3/2022-23. I'll read that because as soon as you raised, I was just recalling it. So I'll just share it that. Yeah, you proceed.
I will stop this.
Kuber, so all of them should be given a 67 notice, is it?
67 authorization.
67 in that's what. So they should go with INS 1 to all these panipuris and bullock, the towing carts.
See, there is a bank account, so they have all the information where exactly is they reside or where they are conducting their business. Some address proof will be there.
Yeah.
But any idea as to what has actually been done when in the newspaper?
I don't know. Maybe I think we have to check with someone. I have no clue.
No,
So,
after ASMT 14, it is directly ASMT 15 only. It's an order. ASMT 14 is a show cause notice.
On the ground, what happened, do you know, is what the question.
On the ground?
have they issued currently 14,000 notices were sent? Were they ASMT 14? Were they DRC01A? Were they INS1? They cannot send it, they have to go in physical.
I'm surprised
One
out
or
of
two
those
I
14,000
received.
notices, none of us have received even one client.
I was planning to shift to
There
Bangalore.
are many.
No, I've received
There are.
actually. They have issued ASMT 14 in my case.
Oh, is it? Okay.
They have issued ASMT 14 and they are trying
My
to say that why it is not
14
registered.
can be
One or
issued
two,
with
not like.
assumption.
ASMT 14, they have issued along proposing the tax liability along with interest and penalty. Now
Correct,
section
correct.
63. Now section 63.
No penalty.
Yeah, it only says best tax liability can be assessed on best judgment
with
basis.
interest.
The tax
Yes,
liability includes interest and penalty.
correct, correct. So penalty cannot be there according to me, but we have to wait and see. Like, but they have in this notice in ASMT 13 they are imposing that 100% penalty.
Why
But
do
if you look at ASMT 15,
Yes, sir,
Annapurna
yes,
madam,
sir.
if you look at ASMT 15, it says interest and penalty also.
Yes, yes.
Which is
That's
an
what the
order.
format requires that. Yes, yes. No, I am saying the penalty quantum is not clear.
It will be
So,
100%, no?
100% only they are living. That's what.
100%.
See, yeah.
In the 14 stage, I would only be interested in assessment of the tax. Penalty interest will automatically follow when I come to 15. I don't need to quantify in 14.
But they're quantifying in 14 only.
That's okay. Even if it doesn't quantified,
we must read this notice under 63 once again. Interest and penalty not imposable. There is one paragraph 3.9 where sir brings out that in ASMT 13, interest and penalty is not imposable for the legal provision doesn't provide for that.
No, because there are separate penalty section and separate this
See,
interest
I mean, the
section.
point sir tries to bring it out here is demand for interest and penalties incongruous with demands based on best judgment assessment of tax liability. Latitude allowed in law does not authorize audit of records of unregistered persons. Not even saving provision in section 75(9) can permit confirmation of demand for interest or penalty. However, a quick perusal of form ASMT 15 in which order under section 63 is to be confirmed contains a table which has provision for interest and penalty. As to whether the form and rule can feed the statutory provision in the act, it is very clear that there is no such authority, and for this reason table in the form of order can offer fresh grounds on jurisdiction to be raised in appeal if any. The same concern exists in form ASMT 13.2 when compared to the language in 62. This brings into sharp focus the question of about the nature of demand in section 63. Again, by contrasting with 62, it will be clear that quality of information that forms basis for best judgment assessment of tax liability cannot be logical inference but something more tangible, for the reason that the demand must be based on following essential information of HSN, admissibility of exemption, time and place of supply, etc. Best guess cannot contain imaginary time and place of supply. See, best guess cannot contain imaginary time and place of supply. Arbitrariness in these taxing ingredients will itself bring about the downfall of the demand if orders were to be carried in appeal. So, to demand interest, they are imagining the time of supply and also the place of supply. So, that is the point sir is trying here.
Yeah, that can be one school of thought, but only thing is, see, this is a special section actually in the GST law. So 62 and 63, these are the only two sections where they can arrive the liability based on estimation. So I think once that special power is given in that respective section, so I think they have the right to come on that document or supporting, and then they can come out on the estimation basis. See, they have got some evidence based on that they are trying to arrive the liability, right? So I don't know. I am just trying to read that interest and penalty. There is a separate section itself. So even that can be taken care in ASMT 15.
Yeah,
But I
see,
think
because once the liability is established, 50
yeah.
will automatically kick in because he is
Correct.
liable to pay tax but failed to pay tax.
Yes. I agree that it is not quantified like in 73 and 74, but there is a specific section itself for interest and penalty. And even 75(9) also says, na, even if it is not there in the order, still interest is leviable itself. So I think even that also can be applied in 63. So very difficult to fight that there is no interest and penalty in
I mean,
best
that's what
judgment.
sir also has
Yeah,
brought
yeah,
up
I
this
know
point
that
of
can be one
75
thought
9.
point.
Huh.
Yes,
For agitating, this could be a ground.
yeah, that can be a ground, but just
You see, will
other thought.
agitation also should be accepted by the judges.
Yeah.
I mean, if we have a client who's willing to pay, then there is not even a point of agitating. But if we find a client who doesn't have money or not willing to pay, then this could be a ground we can take to contest it.
No. So your contest tax is payable, but interest and penalty is not payable, correct?
The discussion now is about interest and penalty. As far as tax is concerned, again, even in the best judgment, there are some basic ingredients which has to be fulfilled. If not all the 15 what Kuber brought out, but these 4 aspects, at least to some reasonable extent, it has to be fulfilled as what is the.
Now, all that I'm saying is right now, after the taxes being paid, you are saying interest and penalty can be contested, correct?
Yeah, correct.
See, majorly, I don't know, you would have received multiple notices because with my limited experience on this aspect, I have seen that not many notices have come under 63 compared to 73 and 74 because even department don't want to take risk on 63. They directly jump into 73, right?
Correct.
So,
Even
yeah, so
only few, comparatively very few.
very few. I
Very
think
few.
this, I don't know 14,000 notices where it has gone, but 1 or 2 I'm able to get because of some, he was an employee of some company and he tried to invest in that all startups and all. So I think 1 or 2 I was able to access that. I don't know where it has gone, those notices, how they are
Abhishek is coming
voting.
to handle those notices.
Yeah,
So
I don't know. It would have got on air also.
No, the Karnataka people have exported business to Kolkata.
Yeah.
Actually, from Kolkata,
any
it
one of
seems
us
that
dealing
No. So this is called domestic export.
Abhishek,
And
please continue.
Annapurna, we cannot take refund also on that,
See,
on this export.
at least we should be
Venu.
happy ITC claim is available.
Yes, Venu, you were saying something. Sorry, in between. Yes.
I'm telling Abhishek, please continue and conclude.
Yes. So only 2 points further on the credit notes. Credit note with GST, credit note without GST. So here in the first scenario, credit note with GST, the allegation is that the recipient has not reversed the credit as it is the credit note is available in the GSTR 2A. And in this particular thing, just come straight to the evidence. The fact in the issue would be the registered person was under a is it that it's a mandatory legal obligation to reverse the ITC? Whether non-reversal constitutes the wrong availment under 16, whether supplier had already reduced the output tax liability or not, and it could be that the recipient had not even taken the credit of the invoice and therefore has not reversed the credit, reversed the ITC on the basis of credit note. So the allegation would need to be supported by the department, by the reconciliation and by GST one of the supplier, and the primary burden still will be on the department, and if the recipient is failing to reverse the credit, the ITC, the tax should not be reduced from the outward liability of the supplier. But again, demand only on the basis that is appearing on the portal is a presumption. Reversal of ITC by recipient is a condition applicable to the supplier. It's nothing about the recipient. So here the point was that if the mandate of the reversal was on the it was a condition for the supplier, and if the recipient doesn't reverse it, So what cause of action he is triggering? Because that was the only thought I was trying to make in this particular point.
Abhishek,
Anyone?
this condition has been brought prospectively, right? Amendment which is there in 34 today, where the recipient has to reverse the credit. I think that has come through Finance Act 2025, where this condition has come only prospectively, right? It was not retrospective.
Exactly, ma'am. Exactly, ma'am.
And second aspect is, I think there was a circular also in 2024, where they trying to bring out that the recipient has to reverse the input tax credit. That was for where they have to try to collect that certificates, CA certificate, if it is all that 5 lakhs above all that. Then third is in 15.5 for discounts, we are having a specific condition that there should be a reversal of credit by recipient. But in this case, what is the reason for issuing this credit note also has to be tested here.
So, ma'am, from where I took this scenario is a lot of notices are coming only merely of a credit note. To in GST or 2A, credit notes are coming. So there was a scenario where a supplier have issued an invoice by mistake, and to cancel that invoice, they have issued a credit note themselves. So the recipient have neither booked the invoice nor booked the credit note.
Then where is the liability then?
There is no liability, ma'am. But again, in GSTR 2A, when the invoice is coming and credit note is coming, the officer is of a view that since a credit note is coming, I want to see a corresponding reversal in your returns.
Yet, but we can try to prove that it has not availed itself. Then where is the question of reversal? That's what I'm trying to understand.
So, ma'am, again, what we do when before show cause notice, we don't go and give the purchase register or the detailing of the ITC. So it becomes very evidently tough for us to prove that those ITC were never claimed and therefore not reversed.
I think
So-
information is available with department itself. That can also be your ground now. It is already there in their portal itself. To the extent what is availed in 3B and to the extent what is populated in 2B, whatever it is. So I think to that extent it has already been the information which is there.
Do they have invoice wise access? I don't know. Do they have invoice wise access?
No, what I'm saying is whatever is populated in 2B and whatever you have disclosed in your 3B, I think it is already been, it's there with the department itself. So I'm just trying to say what you're going to add here.
Yeah. My point was the department alleging me that you have not reversed the credit, so you are liable to reverse the credit. So here, should we straight away go open our books of accounts and make them convince, or should we ask them to support the allegation with certain evidences?
I think you can give 3B only.
Okay. Well, sir, any point on this?
Now we have this IMS all that, but earlier it was
Right,
not
sir.
there.
Right, ma'am. Right, ma'am.
Yeah. So we can try to prove that that was not there in the earlier year. So there was no
Ma'am, again,
provision. to
IMS,
reject-
there is no leak yet.
No. What I'm saying is there was no provision to reject those credit notes.
Yeah.
And now at least we have that option. Yeah.
Exactly. Venu, sir. Kuber, sir, any point further on this?
I think Kuber, Venu, they have left, I think.
So we only 9 of us.
Yeah, 9:54.
Okay,
Just
no
to
worries.
wind up.
I'll just close this last one. Credit note without GST, that is the financial credit note. Now in this, the recipient is demanded that since it's a financial credit note and you have shown in the income side of the PL account, you are liable to pay tax on such additional income. So this was the allegation made by the department. In this, again, what I try to put that there is no supply altogether. But again, we are receiving this notices. Financial credit note shown in the credit side of the PL. So the evidences, the burden of proof would be remaining on the department. Again, going with the HSN code and everything, and the ground is how HSN code and the rate of the output supply is not mentioned, and therefore the primary burden stays on the department. Had we received any such notices? No.
Yeah, it is there. They are issuing the notices actually. They are doing this in audit. They're trying to take the credit side of profit and loss account wherever the discount has been shown and trying to say that it's a supply. But I think whatever the grounds you have taken, I think more or less that is the source. And again, it depends upon their contractual terms, all that. I think that will suffice. Whatever evidences you are trying to put here, I think majorly these are the grounds which are being taken.
For these points, I'm trying to draft something. I'll just make it vetted from Jatin sir. If he permits, I will share it as a specific grounds in the for our submissions. Because these were the common topics which we are receiving day in, day out.
Yeah. And even I think majorly even department is not able to conclude on this.
Indeed.
So majorly what I am able to experience, they are not able to conclude on this issue. So I think it is pending before the higher authority. So still they have to conclude on these issues.
Yes, ma'am. Then, ma'am, that's it from my side. Thank you for the amazing discussion we had.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Good issues brought out, Abhishek. It was really engaging discussions.
Thank you so much. Guided, instructed, jhadify by Jatin sir.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, thanks.